Thank you, Mr. Chair. I rise today to offer my amendment that requires regional foresters to submit a plan on the sale of Christmas trees and firewood on federal land. Under current law, American families can purchase a permit from the Forest Service to cut Christmas trees from their favorite national forests, as well as harvest any firewood, transplants, posts, and poles, and other forest products to improve forest health. We have seen successful Christmas tree and firewood harvesting operations in my home state of Colorado, and this program has served as a locally based solution to help thin our overgrown forests. According to the Forest Service, quote, the permit system helps to thin densely populated stands of small diameter trees. Local forest health experts identify areas that benefit from thinning trees and tend to be the perfect size for Christmas trees. Removing these trees in designated areas helps other trees grow larger and can open areas that provide food for wildlife, end quote. My constituents are struggling right now as they deal with the disastrous effects of the Democrats' destructive economic policies. They unleashed record inflation on Americans that has raised utility bills, drove up energy costs, and made it harder to live for most Americans. My amendment provides an affordable fuel alternative for families across the nation to heat their homes, as well as create lasting holiday memories for families to interact with their local forests. I urge my colleagues to support my common sense amendment to prioritize collaborative forest landscape restoration program activities that allow for the removal of firewood and Christmas trees. Mr. Chair, I reserve.
Gentlewoman reserves. For what purposes does the gentlewoman from California seek recognition?
Mr. Chair, I rise to claim the time in opposition to this amendment.
Gentlewoman is recognized.
Similar to Ms. Boebert's last amendment, this amendment was summarized by Republicans as requiring the regional foresters to develop plans, in this case, the plans for the sale of Christmas trees and firewood. Once again, I would like to clarify that this amendment doesn't do that. It does not require anything of regional foresters. Instead, it requires special consideration for project proposals under the Collaborative Forest Landscape Restoration Program that seek to facilitate the sale of Christmas trees and firewood on lands under the jurisdiction of the Secretary of Agriculture or the Secretary of the Interior. The Landscape Restoration Program was not created for the sole purpose of revenue building by removing trees from public lands. The program is meant to do what it says in its program title: promote collaboration among federal land management agencies and the public for the purpose of restoring forest landscapes. Tree harvesting for anything other than the purpose of landscape restoration is not in the spirit of the program. By placing a preference on projects that are related to Christmas tree harvest, this amendment would limit the landscape restoration program by prioritizing a marketable product over landscape restoration. And to be extra clear, the Forest Service already has broad authority to conduct the sale of firewood and of Christmas trees. They don't need it under this restoration program. I urge a no vote, and I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentlewoman reserves. Gentlewoman from Colorado is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's so sad to hear my colleagues on the other side of the aisle hate Christmas. This would allow restoration of our forests. Like I said, our forests are overgrown. This would allow a fun way for families to participate in healthy forest management by thinning some of the living trees that are overgrown on our forest lands. And Mr. Chair, I again urge the adoption of this amendment, and I yield to the chairman from Arkansas, Mr. Westerman.
Gentlewoman yield. Gentleman from Arkansas is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank the gentlelady for yielding and for her amendment. And Mr. Chair, I would like to note that over 2.3 million households rely on firewood to heat their homes. I didn't say they enjoy a nice evening by the fire. They rely on firewood to heat their homes. It's even more common in western rural communities near federal lands, especially in counties with significant Native American communities. The Forest Service has made some positive efforts with programs like Wood for Life, which provides firewood from forest restoration projects in northern Arizona to local tribal communities that otherwise could not afford to heat their homes. Providing ample firewood sources to these communities is essential and cost-effective service the Forest Service should be helping to provide. Also, for as little as $5, more than 300,000 American families receive a Christmas tree permit from Forest Service properties each year. This not only helps Americans celebrate the Christmas season, but it also helps manage our forests through removal of forest products that may otherwise fuel the next wildland fire. I commend Representative Boebert for her work on this creative and thoughtful amendment that can make a big difference in the lives of rural Americans. I urge support, and I yield back.
Gentleman yields. The gentlewoman from Colorado is recognized.
Mr. Chair, I reserve.
Gentlewoman reserves.
Mr. Chair, I reserve.
Gentlewoman reserves.
Mr. Chair, may I ask how much time is remaining?
1 minute remaining for the gentlewoman from Colorado.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This legislative proposal is an excellent example of how local solutions can make a big difference in managing our environment and mitigating risks. The success of Christmas tree and firewood harvesting operations in Colorado are a testament to the power of human ingenuity when it's coupled with a deep understanding of local environments and needs. These operations help to thin overgrown forests, reducing the fuel load and therefore the risk of uncontrollable wildfires. They also provide valuable resources to the local community, turning what could be a negative overgrown forest into a positive holiday trees and firewood for heating. Mr. Chair, I urge adoption of the amendment in the spirit of Christmas and heating homes efficiently. I yield.
Gentlewoman from Colorado yields. Gentlewoman from California is recognized.
Mr. Chair, as a Christian, I am offended that my colleague on the other side of the aisle would suggest that I hate Christmas. This bill has nothing to do with inhibiting people from celebrating their religious holidays, including through having a Christmas tree. This amendment and this debate is about the fact that this amendment does not do what the gentlelady from Colorado claims that it does. This bill does not require regional foresters to do anything. I support the Forest Service using its existing authority to permit the harvesting of Christmas trees and trees for firewood, but that's not what this amendment actually does. I'd like to close by observing to my colleague that many of us make happy family memories with trees that are living. We have ways to enjoy trees without cutting them down or burning them. I yield back.
From California yields. Questions on the amendment offered by the gentlewoman from Colorado. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. The amendment is agreed to.